Today, I want to take a look with a worlds-based review of the Gannon Cloudbreaker, the Niklas Anttila DD3, and the Alden Harris Solar Flare 2, his FD3. Hey, real quick, I'm gonna let you know, if you haven't finished consuming Worlds coverage yet and you don't know who wins, skip this video until you do, but then come back and watch it right away. Bye. These are all three discs that I got a while back that I was planning on reviewing and never got around to, and I've been wanting to throw for a very long time because all of them feel very good. The Solar Flare 2 is a little bit domey with a nice parting line. I imagine it's gonna be straight to stable FD3, not as overstable as the Solar Flare 1 in the Horizon. This Cloudbreaker is the Horizon C-Line Cloudbreaker, which is just his regular tour series this year. I'm sure he'll have a lot of drops from now becoming a one-time world champion. Big shout out to Gannon Burr. And this disc feels a little gummy and doesn't really see very C-line-y. It seems more S-line-y, like Star, but it's a little bit see-through. So Horizon C-Line, I imagine this is gonna be straight. I heard it's a straight run of Cloudbreakers. Still a little overstable, maybe 12.5 -1.2 instead of 12.5 -1.3. And last is the Niklas Anttila DD3. The DD3 and Cloudbreaker I thought were similar molds until they've been coming out with more and more different releases with them. The S-Line DD3 here is a glow horizon, and this parting line feels very low. This I think is gonna be pretty understable. I've only thrown it one time, and it was when I was testing out to see what disc should be in my bag for the Des Moines Challenge. So now that I'm back in Denver, it'll be a little more overstable than that, but I think this is more like a -2 disc. So we have three different drivers, and we're out here at Adams Hollow, one of my favorite courses in the Denver area, and one that you've seen a lot for other reviews, if you've watched the channel before, and if not, subscribe. We're gonna be putting with the P2Xs. I normally putt PA3s, but in honor of Gannon winning Worlds with this putter, figure it might as well putt with it, and it's similar enough to the PA3s, and we're actually gonna go based on their Worlds placement, how well we have to shoot for me to not have to give away these discs. Since Gannon won, shooting 43 under par, Gannon's average score each round at Worlds was 8.6, meaning that we'll round that up to 9 under par. If I can't shoot 9 under par, I'll give away the Cloudbreaker. Niklas, in third place, shot 41 under, which averages to 8.2, which if you round that, you round down to 8 strokes, meaning that if I can't shoot 8 or better, I'll give this away. So if I shoot 7 under or worse, I'll give both of these bad boys away. Alden, great finish as well, top 20 out of 200 plus people, 18th, meaning that if I can't shoot 5 down or better, because he averaged 5.2 strokes per round, I'll give away the Solar Flare 2 along with both the other discs. So hopefully the putter is good today. I'm gonna warm up by throwing it and these two, and then first shot will be a forehand with the Solar Flare 3 on this 317-foot hole 1. And let's see how all these fly and if any of them are worth putting into your bag. This Nordic Phenom 4, if it flies how I think, it might have a spot for me, to be honest, because I'm having a hard time finding that flip up and glide bomber distance driver. Wow, that is so straight. Solar Flare 2, little forehand. We have a right to left wind, so flex it. I love this stamp. Oh yeah. Oof. Thank you. Yeah, that flies exactly how I thought it flied. Since I've already done the 50K subscriber giveaway, that giveaway is obviously no longer happening. So if I have to give these away, stick around to the end of the video to figure out how I'll be giving them away, whether that's a big thing or a little thing, or just hope that I shoot 9 under or better. Solid start, and then we won't have to worry about that until the next time I lose a challenge. Oh my gosh, I just saw the layout. I'm pulling it up on UDisc. 6,666 feet. I'm glad it's in the thousands, otherwise this might be the devil's layout. Good birdie to get started. 517 feet is hole 2. There was a little bit of wind that I felt in hole 1. I'm not really feeling a lot right now. We're gonna throw both the Cloudbreaker and the Nordic Phenom 4, which initially Nordic Phenom 1 and 2 were PDs, and then they became DD3s for 3 and 4. And 3 was also a little straighter, but it was flat. This one I think is even flippier than Nordic Phenom 3, and actually, the feel is just so good. But that being said, 517 feet, I've never eagled this hole. Don't think today is the day, not even gonna lie to you based on how I feel about my throws right now. But we're gonna try with the Nordic Phenom 4. Slight hyzer, good height. Just pretend I'm Niklas Anttila and hit the angle perfectly. Don't hit the golf cart though, and we'll be good. Yes, slight hyzer, just ride. That is a laser beam here. Definitely not as understable as I remember from my first throw with it, which makes sense since that was at sea level. That was nice hyzer, flip up to a little bit of turn. This Cloudbreaker We'll throw in a little bit of flex and see, just so we can get some big distance with it. Throwing low. Oh, that's so good too. That's so straight for a cloud breaker. Oh, it's not nearly as overstable as like the Horizon ones from a couple years ago. I don't think, I did throw some of Gannon's, his pink one I had in the bag over the off season of like when he joined the team, his first cloud breaker. I think these are even straighter than those cloud breakers. Based off what I've seen and heard online from Gannon himself and just my experience right there, that flew very nice. I'm gonna need to learn how to get those throws up though within the next 15 holes, because 2 of the last 3 holes are 560 and 500 foot par 4s. So it could be really helpful on the scoring coming down to that wire if I can get an eagle or at least 2 easy birdies. I think this went to show the differences of those 2 discs pretty well, because they were both about the same height out of my hand. Here is the Nordic Phenom 4 and here is the cloud breaker, had a little flex and it's even lefter. These are some great shots though, probably in the 440, 450 foot range. And Gannon's known for his long putting with these bad boys, so let's flip this and see if I can't make my first eagle here. Oh, there's some shots you wish you didn't have to show. There's some shots you wish you didn't have to show. It's gonna be one of those days, huh? Hole 3, 295, right to left wind. Solar flare 2. Throw it at that tree flat and let it fade. I think if I put it on turn though, it's gonna hold it. It's one of my favorite stabilities of overstable 9-speed, kind of what a lot of people love the Sexton Firebirds for, but maybe a touch more overstable than those. Oh man, this is gummy-ish. I mean, it's really hot right now. It's like 97 degrees, and it feels so good. That's not at the tree. Hit something. Ooh, that is way down the hill. Quick tip about that shot. Personally, for me, everything tends to come out in hyzer. Forehand, backhand, whatever. I think it's the way that my upper body is positioned. I'm gonna work on it. But what that does mean is when I think about throwing flat, I need to actually think about a touch of anhyzer out of the hand. There's a lot of ante on that first shot and it held over well when I first threw the solar flare too. But then I talked myself out of even thinking about anhyzer by saying, oh, I don't want to turn it on anhyzer because it'll hold. Instead, I needed to think about this angle. Slight anhyzer, because to me that actually comes out flat. If I think about flat, it comes out like that one just did. So I guess all that's to say is know where your flat is. If you need to throw a flat shot, maybe you need to think about it being a little anhyzer like me. Or maybe if you're an anhyzer thrower, you need to think about it being on a little hyzer, and then it'll come out flat. But we have a long putt. See if I can redeem myself and actually more realistically redeem Gannon. It's his fault, right? Of what happened on the last hole? Totally. Dang it, I thought I made that. Now we're getting into scary territory. If it wasn't Gannon who was on my side. Oh, we'll take that, we'll take a par. Already falling off the pace, but we're not worried about that. We're only through 3 holes. This one would be a great birdie, but there's a lot of them on the back. So I'm saving my mentality from being too scared yet. 430 feet. I thought this was gonna be a tailwind, but it actually seems to be more right to left, which might be perfect for throwing a touch ante with the cloud breaker, which will probably end up coming out flat like we just talked about, because it'll hold against it, and then once it starts to fade, since it's still pretty straight with some fade, the wind will help push it closer to the basket. Whereas the Nordic Phenom 4, I have to figure out the level of hyzer that it will not just immediately get pushed because the wind is under the flight plate, but will still flip up, ride straight and not burn because it's flippy, and then fade. Definitely possible, but I think the cloud breaker is a little easier of an initial shot. Touch a turn out of the hand. Now it gets stable and skips towards the basket. Oh yeah. That's my best shot on this hole in a long time. Let's try this Nordic Phenom. All I'm focusing on here is getting it in the air because I've been throwing everything so low right now. That's better. Oh my gosh, I love that flight. Oh my gosh, that's like a perfect flight for me. Pretty solid spread, I would say. And we're officially back on pace. Hole 5. They call it 415, but every time I ranged it, it said 425 on the dot. Doesn't seem to be a crazy amount of wind. It's kind of fluctuating from having a little to having basically none. But I do see on that flag that it's coming this way. So I think, again, cloud breaker. This definitely could work for that big sweep in hyzer, but I kind of want to throw a second of a forehand with it and see if it holds over well enough. To me, in comparison to the time-lapse V3, which I reviewed actually at the same course, the V3 time-lapse had a similar flight to that Nordic Phenom 4, but it felt like a forehand disc. Maybe it's just the feel. That doesn't feel like a forehand disc. Maybe it's because of the parting line or something. This feels much more like a backhand disc, even though the time-lapse felt more like a forehand disc, even though the flight was the same. Maybe that just means I'm crazy, but I think there is something to that. That's a great pushing hyzer, just too. Big flip. Flip, I meant skip. I didn't see a single skip. I like that line if it skipped at all. Still throwing low. Let's see how this guy holds on a pretty nasty little forehand turnover. Hey, so I just threw that forehand and we're gonna pretend like I did a really good job at throwing it to the next tee pad. If you're willing to pretend with me, you can watch this next shot. Otherwise, hit that skip button a couple times. I think it did skip. It was just a little low, so it didn't quite get the distance. I have a little head right to left. Oh, Gannon's known for these knee putts. This is the one. Let's go. And now we got Ace Run City. Part of me wants to park it and knows that layups are for cool kids. But a part of me also wants a first time ace for the first time in a long time. Drop. Oh, sit. Oh, it's not terrible. Headwind. It'll hold it up, but you still gotta get it over the cage. In case there was any confusion about how headwind putts work. Hole 7, 323. In between all those trees is actually on the opposite side. Another great FT3 hole, but honestly, I'm throwing the FT3 on the next couple holes. And I know that for some people, 330 is kind of a big flat to hyzer distance. So we're gonna throw that with a cloud breaker. Got a little right to left, so it's gonna help the disc push to the left once it shows this angle, and the wind can get under the flight plate. So we're gonna just start it out on a touch of flat and a little high so that it can stall close to the basket. It's a little wider than I wanted to. Hopefully the wind can really push it. Come on! Oh, that thing wants to go. That's gonna be circle 2. That would've been pretty good if I would've thrown it at the right direction. And walking down here a little more, there does seem to be a lot of right to left, but also a little headwind. So that's a pretty decent representation of how that cloud breaker will fly. It's a little straighter even than I thought. I thought when you throw it a little down tempo, it'd bite a little harder, but that seems to be pretty workable even at mid to low 300 foot speeds. Pretty impressive for a stable driver. Time to be that circle 2 killer like Gannon. I am remembering why I putt PA3s now. Maybe we'll talk about it at the end, but it's probably not that important. Gonna have to over exaggerate some things for the rest of this round to get it figured out. Hole 8, 302 feet, wind coming up off the lake. Great straight solar flare shot. Just gotta make sure to turn it into the wind or throw it flat into the wind so I'm not hyzering too early. Sit. Oh, that's a little too up on the, yeah. Yep. I did what I wanted to do turning wise, but I didn't actually put my body angled the correct direction. I really needed to throw it more like this. I really like that cloud breaker. That thing is so good. Oh my gosh, so left. Hole 9, 290. Straight ahead, very similar. Headwind with a little left to right. Move the aim point a little lefter even than I thought. Skip in. Oh, wow. Flat skip. That was still not left enough. You never try to land on that flat on this hole. You always try to land a little more on the downslope so that it'll hit into it and skip up, like kind of like a check skip. But if you do hit on the flat, you better be calling for it to ace that thing. Oh, man. man. A turkey of pars to finish out the front 9 does not make this impossible. We got those par 4s coming up. 3 down through 6. 3 down through 9 though means we're gonna have to double up. 2 for every 3 holes on average. Not every single time. But we're gonna crisp it up, clean up the mental junk going through my head about having to throw the perfect shot. Just let my body do the work in every hole and we'll see how these just fly. Hole 10's 385, right to left wind, basket, about 35 feet beyond that big leaning tree down there. You got it over the top. They have to get lucky through some trees on the back. You can throw straight at it or a flex forehand. My forehand's not historically been the best, but with this wind and this stability of disc, I like the chances. I don't know if it got all the way there, but that was pretty close. I really like that. I think that with this flat is also money. Yes. Okay, it's not a forehand disc, I'll tell you that much. Oh, that's even better. The hand feel doesn't scream forehand, but the flight is still pretty equally money to that V3 time lapse. Oh my goodness. This is one of those holes on this course that's a little bit of a question mark for me, because I normally am just trying to throw up that gap with like a straight 9 or 10 speed. And these both are pretty parked. We do have a decent wind. But if this hole I can just routinely hit with some sort of forehand, I'd be so happy. I've never thought about that as the play, and then those two came out pretty money. Hole 11, 357. I like just the big hyzer with the cloud breaker. Kind of similar to what I did a couple holes back where I tried to play it a little softy, but this time we're just gonna play it a little high and spiky. Probably not super high though. My spike hyzers are never quite true spike hyzers. It's kind of more of a push hyzer. Big skip, come on. Oh, that's great. That's actually such a good piece of foliage, because I was gonna skip forever, and now I think it's parked. Oh, FT3's money. Beauty. I am absolutely disgusted right now. Absolutely disgusted. Every time I shoot a video about Gannon Burr, something like that happens. Inevitably. 358 on this hole. 1 foot farther than the last hole. I'm gonna do the same thing, and the basket's gonna accept my putt, okay? Cloudbreaker's been doing good for me these last couple holes. Now we got a right to left wind. So just leave it out there, let it spike it. Not the best, but we'll take it. Maybe I was just too close on the last hole, you know? Oh, and I didn't flip it, so that never helps anything. And I didn't have a straight headwind. Yeah, makes sense, makes sense. I'll take that. Sometimes just how it goes, and then you complain about it a lot because you're a disc golfer. Hole 13, 348. Personally, I love the pulled over flex line on this hole. We do have a left-right wind, which will actually help it. And as a secondary shot on the last couple of holes, I've been throwing this FT3, just kind of practicing that line. Not actually thinking about this hole coming up, just not great at punching anhyzers. So I get to test if I learned anything good with the last couple shots. Well, bad news. It's 93 degrees and scorching hot, no cloud in the sky right now, so my camera overheated. The throw that you saw, basically you can just superimpose the last 2 throws that luckily the camera did catch, but just a little farther. I threw it pretty low and driven, and the wind pushed it, and this hole is about 350. I'm 60 feet long. I'm gonna range find to see exactly how long that is, but I'm pretty sure that was at least a 400-foot shot. It's slightly uphill and a good wind. So I think the anhyzer punchiness is good. This is one cue that I'm queuing up for a video in the future about things that are working to make me a better thrower. But I really like it for now. So more on that later. This is probably only like 45, 50. Yeah, 45, so it's about 390. Oh man. 5 left, 310, camera keeps overheating, so I don't have a lot of time to yap. Solar Flare 2 is what I was gonna throw, and then as the camera kept overheating, it's a headwind now, so we're gonna throw the Cloud Breaker, hopefully get a birdie. Oh my gosh, the disc fell out of my bag, I thought it was something else. Come on, that's money. Please haven't overheated. Could have been this too. Oh, I really like that Solar Flare. And there's the flare. And here's the sun. It all makes sense. Hey, so because of the overheating, I have to have you guys stay right here. So just in case my mic cuts out from the transmitter, here's the sound effects. Nice. All right, now we're back. Yeah, 347, hyzer. Big skip. No, let's see, I got tailwind putt. Come on. Yes, just high enough with the tailwind. Come on. I would be remiss to say, snag these on infinitedisc.com if you'd like, as well as all the other Discmania Tour series. If there are more that I should know about, let me know down in the comments, and I'll see about making another video for it. Big shout out to Infinite for sending these out to me and being my main sponsor. Buying your disc through them almost always gets you the cheapest price, and it helps to support me, because as they grow, hopefully we can grow together. That being said, we got a little bit of a headwind, it looks like now. Dang, I thought it was a tail left to right. Now, if anything, it's not really much, and I'm leaving you back there because you're in the shade, so hopefully you don't overheat. We have the DD3, which I think if I throw way high and on a little bit of anhyzer can really push. Cloud Breaker might also be able to get there, but not really looking for an eagle on this hole. This is a bar one. Get over. Yes. Pretty happy with that. That should be a forehand up and down. I definitely thought the wind would be better, but that's okay, because the last hole, hopefully we still got an eagle chance. Maybe don't even need it though, if I can keep stringing some birdies together. If I get this one, I only need 1 birdie in the last 2. That feels doable. Yeah, wow, look at that wind. Why isn't it helpful like I thought it was gonna be? Dang, that's okay. That's helpful. Figured out the putter a little bit, which is a win. I'll actually talk about that at the end. I already recorded that portion. But if I get this next hole, I can run the eagle on the last hole from basically anywhere, because then I could just pitch up for par. So let's try to do that, because getting eagles is fun. 307. Honestly, the line that I've never taken, but it's kind of obvious with this bag, is the Solar Flare through the right gap. I normally try to just go through the center gap, but if I just never get this thing past flat, thrown through the right gap, it just skips to the basket, and that's a pretty consistent line that I'm surprised I've never even thought about before. Woo! Oh my gosh, I really thought I nailed that. Tree, not the gap. Oh man, my putter's all come out so left with this thing. But that's okay. We are 9 down, chance to get to 11 with an eagle, 10 with a birdie, but it's probably either gonna be 11 or 9, because unless I'm real close and I hit the cage and sit down by the basket, I'm running this thing for eagle. T-Sign calls it 500, only ever ranges to 490. I would go DD3, but in honor of Gannon, and because honestly I'm throwing this thing a little bit better in terms of max distance, Cloud Breaker. Throw it just like hole number 2. Looks like a right to left tailwind there. Not the best wind, but keep it high enough. Let's get an eagle. Yes. Sit down. Oh man, a little too much right to left wind, but we're running that. DD3 might have actually been the better choice. Well, you got to throw it in the air first, actually. So maybe it's not the better choice. That is not bad though. 50-foot look for eagle, up a hill and a headwind. Everybody's dream. Never been more embarrassed in my life. I know you're all expecting me to run this thing back and forth, But over the last couple of videos, I've kind of adopted a new mantra. And I don't feel super cool about it, but I like the score. 9 down, baby. Not bad. Heat killed me. Somehow I snuck out the round, which I'm actually pretty happy with. Really enjoyed throwing these 3 discs. I think they're a good like set of discs for especially someone who's throwing around 400 feet. The Cloudbreaker and the DD3 are gonna fly pretty different for you there. Whereas if you're throwing maybe about 350, they'll still fly different, and 300, they'll fly a little different. But I think when you're about 380 to 400 feet of consistent distance, you'll see those fly a little differently, and you'll see the FD3 really shine as a not like crazy beefy cap wrap style FD3, but as a more straight overstable 9-speed, like straight 4 and overstable 9-speed. It's still very overstable, but I think these came out pretty well. Shout out to Discmania, and shout out to all 3 of these players for solid finishes at Worlds, and for coming out with some good discs, and for just being cool people. I've met them all in person and know a couple of them pretty well, so well worth your support if you so choose. If you so choose to do it on infinitedisc.com, it's a win for everybody, because you get good prices too. Okay, see you guys in the next one. Peace. Okay, if you've waited to know why I'm really struggling with the P2Xs compared to the PA3s I normally putt, even though on the side profile they look almost identical, it's because I'm a small dude. Gannon's hands are quite literally a knuckle and a half, at least bigger than mine. And so when I'm reaching towards the middle of the flight plate, my fingers only get to here. So there's not a lot of control. Whereas at my PA3s, they're more like here. And I feel much more control over the middle of the flight plate. Feels like this is a weightier putter, and I have to like give it more oomph to get the same RPMs. I'm just not used to that. So hopefully I was able to figure it out after this point, and you've seen the rest of the video and you know what happens. But probably what I'm gonna have to do is, instead of just doing my normal putt where I just focus on my fingers doing all the rotation, a little bit more active wrist and like spin putt at the basket instead of kind of a up and down pushy spinny putt. I think I'll be able to figure it out. You guys know. But I'm now remembering why these putt different than my PA3s when I'm not in the basement.